A dying republic's greatest mind writes a letter to his son about duty, honor, and how to live rightly in a corrupt world. That letter became the moral textbook of Western civilization and the template for Christian ethics. De Officiis on Duties was Cicero's last philosophical work, written in the autumn of 44 BC, just months before his assassination. Julius Caesar had been murdered in March. The republic Cicero had spent his life defending was collapsing into dictatorship. In this desperate hour, Cicero wrote to his son Marcus, then studying philosophy in Athens, laying out the duties of a good man, not in abstraction, but with the fierce urgency of a father who might not see his son again. Cicero follows the framework of the Stoic philosopher Panidius, who had written a Greek treatise on duty. But Cicero transforms the material, enriching it with Roman examples, legal reasoning, and his own lifetime of political experience. The result is neither purely Stoic nor purely Ciceronian. It is a distinctively Roman moral philosophy that grounds abstract principles in the realities of public life. Book 1 establishes that all duties derive from 4 cardinal virtues. Wisdom, the perception of truth and the ability to reason correctly. Justice, giving each person their due and keeping faith. Courage, greatness of spirit that rises above fear and adversity. Temperance, the sense of order and measure in all things. These 4 virtues, Cicero argues, are the foundation of every human obligation. From them flow all specific duties. Justice, Cicero insists, is the most essential virtue for social life. Its 2 commandments are simple. Do no harm unless provoked by injustice, and use common property for the common good. But injustice takes 2 forms: active wrongdoing and passive neglect. The person who stands by and allows injustice when they could prevent it is as guilty as the perpetrator. This doctrine of the duty to intervene would become one of the most influential ideas in Western moral and legal thought. There is no natural private property, Cicero argues. All property was originally common, becoming private through long occupation, conquest, law, or agreement. Those who hold property hold it in trust. They must use it for the benefit of the community as well as themselves. Generosity is a duty, not merely a virtue, but generosity must be governed by reason. Give to those who deserve it in proportion to your means without impoverishing yourself or neglecting your family. True courage is not reckless bravery but rational fortitude. The courageous person endures hardship for a just cause, not for glory. Cicero warns against the aggressive ambition that masquerades as courage. Caesar's martial glory, which destroyed the Republic, is the implicit target. The greatest courage is the moral courage to defend justice against popular opinion, to speak truth to power, and to sacrifice personal advantage for the common good. What happens when duties conflict? Cicero addresses this directly. Duties to country outweigh duties to individuals. Duties to parents outweigh duties to strangers. Duties arising from justice outweigh duties arising from generosity. A promise extracted by force is not binding. An oath to an enemy must be kept if made freely. These priority rules create a practical system for resolving moral dilemmas, not by appeal to abstract principle alone, but by weighing competing obligations in context. Book 2 turns to utilitas, the useful or expedient. Cicero argues that true advantage is inseparable from morality. What benefits you must also be honorable, or it is not truly beneficial. The politician who gains power through corruption has not benefited himself. He has enslaved himself to fear, guilt, and the hatred of the people. True advantage lies in winning the genuine goodwill of others through justice, generosity, and faithful service. Cicero catalogues the sources of human influence. Glory comes from 3 things: the affection of the masses, their trust, and their admiration. Affection is won through generosity. Trust is won through justice and keeping promises. Admiration is won through wisdom and moral courage. A leader who governs by fear may command obedience but never loyalty. Only the leader who is genuinely good can sustain lasting power, for nothing gained by injustice is truly useful. Book 3 tackles the hardest question: what should you do when the right thing and the profitable thing appear to conflict? Cicero's answer is absolute: they never truly conflict. What appears advantageous but is dishonorable is never truly advantageous. The merchant who conceals a defect in his goods may profit today but destroys his reputation. The general who breaks a treaty may win a battle but loses the trust of allies forever. Apparent conflicts between honor and advantage are always illusions. Cicero illustrates with the famous case of Marcus Tullius Regulus, captured by Carthage and sent to Rome on parole to negotiate a prisoner exchange. Regulus advised the Senate against the exchange, knowing he would be returned to Carthage for torture and death. Was he foolish to keep his oath? No, Cicero insists. By keeping faith, Regulus preserved something more valuable than his life, his honor and Rome's reputation for integrity. The profitable course would have been to stay in Rome. The right course made him immortal. Cicero devotes extensive attention to questions of fair dealing. Must a seller disclose defects? Yes. Must a buyer who knows a famine is coming inform the seller before buying cheaply? Cicero says yes, complete disclosure is required by justice. Must a person who finds a legal loophole exploit it? No, the spirit of the law overrides its letter. These discussions make to Officiis the earliest systematic treatment of business ethics in Western literature. Public service is the highest duty. Those with the talent and opportunity to govern must do so, however dangerous the political arena. Withdrawal into private philosophical contemplation, while pleasant, is a dereliction of duty for those capable of public leadership. Cicero's own life embodied this principle. He returned again and again to political life despite exile, danger, and disappointment. The statesman who serves faithfully serves not just Rome but humanity. In the late 4th century, Ambrose, Bishop of Milan, wrote De Officiis Ministrorum on the duties of the clergy, modeled directly and explicitly on Cicero's De Officiis. Ambrose followed Cicero's structure almost exactly. The same 3-book division, the same 4 cardinal virtues, the same progression from honor to advantage to their apparent conflict. But he Christianized every example. Where Cicero cited Regulus, Ambrose cited the martyrs. Where Cicero praised Roman civic virtue, Ambrose praised Christian charity. The result was a pastoral manual that transmitted Ciceronian ethics to the entire Western Church. Ambrose's adoption of Cicero's 4 cardinal virtues, prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance, became permanent. Augustine endorsed them. Aquinas systematized them, adding the 3 theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity. The cardinal virtues that structure Catholic moral theology to this day are Cicero's 4 virtues, transmitted through Ambrose. A pagan Roman's ethical framework became the skeleton of Christian moral teaching. De Officiis was the most widely read secular text in the Middle Ages after the Bible. Petrarch revered it. Erasmus edited it. It was among the first books printed by Gutenberg. Frederick the Great kept a copy beside his bed. John Adams and the American founders studied it closely. The concept of civic duty, the priority of justice, the principle that no advantage gained by wrongdoing is real. These ideas, flowing from Cicero through Ambrose into the mainstream of Western culture, shaped the moral imagination of the entire Western world. De Officiis is the most practical and most accessible of all ancient philosophical works. It does not seek to prove God's existence or map the structure of reality. It asks the humbler but perhaps more urgent question: what do I owe to my family, my friends, my country, my fellow human beings? Cicero's answer that duty flows from the cardinal virtues, that honor and true advantage never conflict, that justice requires active engagement, became, through Ambrose and the Christian tradition, the foundation of Western moral education. The dying republic's last testament became the moral constitution of Christendom.